I wanted to have a conversation about the value of play booster boxes in an ecosystem where you also have a collector booster box that's going for several hundreds of dollars. And it didn't seem right to do that without opening a box on the channel. So join me today as we have a conversation and use the brand new, very sharp opening tool, courtesy of JP Wood and the Samarun Games. Thank you so much for the gift. We're going to crack this box for Blaze, member of the channel. And Blaze, you got pushed back in the box opening queue because of life, my own personal injury, and then a little bit of a content slowdown over here. And so because of that, there will be some TCG goodies on their way to you and your family for the support. Thank you so much to all the channel members, including Blaze, for sharing this box with us. And let's talk long-term value of some of these products. I'm going to move the mouse away from the recording button because, God forbid, we stop recording. Now, we are looking for Ugins, we are looking for Corey Steel Cutters. There's a ton of cool value in these boxes. Let's get to it. And when it comes to the value of the box, the Play Booster box is in it's in an interesting spot. We are in an ecosystem right now where collector booster boxes are more popular than ever, and most of the collector booster boxes from recent sets seem to be doing extremely well on both the primary and secondary market. Game stores are selling these things for MSRP and sometimes even above. It's a little bit insane, and because of that, the Play Booster box is seeing an uptick in popularity. Now, there is a change to the Play Booster box that we've experienced recently. The cards you can pull, the commander sets, the lists are not always as present in the Play Booster box, and because of that, I would have kind of expected them to see a bit of a downswing, but they really haven't. All right, so we have a box where we have commons. We were going to go through and just kind of look at some art initially, make sure our camera's calibrated before we really get into the swing of things, and we'll be skipping all of these. We have the Triumph Land Cycle that isn't really as exciting. Hey, focus on the Triumph. And the Voice of Victory for our rare Mobilize, a pretty cool mechanic for our foil opportunity, and Reliquary Dragon. But with the changing values, we'll get commons and uncommons will be out of the way. Foils, rares, mythics, specials we will put up here for our viewing pleasure. It's a weird spot, and I noticed that a lot of people are kind of turning away from the Play Booster box as a Skirmish Rhino, very cool, as a viable product for Pack Kraken fun. Ooh, this is an incredible card, very cool in Commander, sick hit right there, followed by the Molten. Oh, two foil pack. And because of this shift, people weren't cracking Play Boosters is what I was getting at. And even though they're not cracking Play Boosters, I think there's a lot of value still to be found in Play Boosters, and I am a little bit convinced that Play Boosters are doubling up our cards already. And we have our first foil, Avenger of the Fallen. It's a very sick card to get in foil. Very good card. Very cool. Love to see that card hit our hands already. I'm convinced people are sleeping on the value of Play Boosters long term. And here's why. The Play Booster box is not only fun to open, it does represent a reasonable experience for anyone getting into a new set. Okay, I was like, do we have duplication again? Anyone trying to experience something just off the cuff? Woo! Let's go. Death begets life for the fancy schmancy hit right there. And because of this, I think we're going to have far more people looking to the Play Booster to get that, scratch that itch, get that little bit of a taste of a new Magic set. And you could convince me before more people were looking to the Collector Booster. The Collector Booster was the new product, especially in an era where you could go on Amazon and get them for very cheap, as we see the Revenant here. But now we are in a world where it seems that... signed art card. Don't worry, Blaze. I'll make sure to send that your way. It seems that, we're not in a place where we're getting collector booster boxes for super cheap. We're not able to go on Amazon and spend $100 and get our hands on a collector booster. If we want to experience the set, as we see our first version of that beautiful Dragon alt art frame, we aren't able to just go and say, hey, I want to open a collector booster, give me $100. A collector booster is a massive commitment, and most Magic fans that want to kind of have a set experience, get some of these cards in their hand, are going to turn to, in my opinion, the Play Booster box. But it's not just about the experience. The value of the cards in the box absolutely matter. And when it comes to the play booster, you do need to have some hits in the set that aren't in the collector box. Often when we evaluate the value of a set, the value of pulls in a set, we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's the collector booster box. And it makes sense because that's where we're going to get most of our value as we see our Hunter. Gosh, these are beautiful art cards. I really do like those. Let me know in the comment section below if those aren't for you, but I like those. We often kind of skip over the play booster box when evaluating these sets, these values, these products, these collectibles. But in a set like Tarkir Dragonstorm, oh my, in a set like Tarkir Dragonstorm, where we're kind of experiencing a ton of playable cards and a lot of decent value in the rare slot, as we see here, as we see our first foil. Gosh, that's so pretty. What that means is you're going to have more of a financial incentive to crack the play booster box. So I'm not making the claim that the play booster box is the ultimate piece of value. You're always going to get your money back, etc. In fact, I would encourage you to go check out friend of the channel Game Vitamins. They did a series where they opened a ton of play booster boxes and saw what value is. We will do a value breakdown here using our friends at Mox Alpha once the set has had time to settle. But having cards in the rare slot in that $5, $6, $7, $8 just in the rare slot, so that when you crack a pack you feel like you're getting your money's worth, is big. That is a big deal for these play booster boxes. It's a big deal for the long-term value of these products. Ooh, and we have our first sweet Dragonland. It's a big deal for the value of these products, and it's a big deal for the casual fan to, crack packs more freely, to have less feels bad, to have less of a financial reckoning when they get in there and open some of these packs. And we see here, ooh, the Grappler. Beautiful, beautiful Grappler. Oh, and the familiar. I love this card. I love this card. You can't convince me this card's not sweet. You can't convince me this card's not good. I want any excuse I can find to play that card in my life. And yeah, I might be wrong. It's probably not as good as I want it to be, but I really want to play it. So these values of having, and I don't mention the mythic slot as much. I mention the rare slot because it is important to have more of an opportunity to hit these. And when you find these cards in the rare slot, and when you have a chance to have less of a feels bad. But the other aspect of these play booster boxes is having some valuable things that you can hit that push you over the top. And that was where my next point was going. It's like the box knew, because Eugene is here to smack Blaze and the family with some value right across the dome. Congratulations, a massive hit. And it just goes to, really hit home my point that if you have a lot of cards in the box where you can get your value back, you have massive hits, big chase things that are possible, as we see the Breaching Dragonstorm, to come out of the product, you've created a scenario where the product can go infinite, much like this Hunter and its broken mechanic. No, I'm just kidding. You have an opportunity for a product to hit on multiple fronts, to satisfy multiple people in the Magic the Gathering community, and for this reason, in my opinion, you have a home run of a product. But what does that mean for the value long term? Just because you have a product that hits pretty well doesn't mean the long-term value is going to be there. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? What is not in this box? What is not in this box? Good Lord. The long-term value of the box has a lot to do with everything we've talked about, but there's a third aspect that we haven't touched on yet, and that is, community perception. We've seen things like Dominaria United, in my opinion, would check most of the boxes for what we say. You've got the big hitter in Shouldered. You've got some good cards to hit in the rare slot with some value, and you have the opportunity for the lottery ticket moment of pulling the Lost Legends cards out of there, the fabled Tabernacle coming out of that product. But even though that was the case, the product necessarily didn't hit, doesn't hold a ton of value, and isn't highly sought after. And Tarkir Dragonstorm succeeds in a lot of areas where a set like that failed. First and foremost, it seems to hit a lot harder on theme. Now, Dominaria United was a very cool set. It felt like an actual Magic set. It wasn't like off the rails. It wasn't trying to be a Universes Beyond Within or a Hat set, but it still necessarily didn't hit with the community in a way that I would have thought it would. You couple that with the fact that Wizards of the Coast devalued the collector product almost immediately by, I know that they had a big hit in there by printing, in my opinion, probably way too much of it. It was super available, and being available, United Battlefront, gosh, this is what we're talking about. Just amazing hits in the rare slot. Let's go. And being available is not a problem, but being overly available when you're going to call a product a collector product and charge a premium, in my opinion, is. And because of these feel bads, these, maybe possibly overprinting, this notion that the set wasn't managed, didn't hit with the community, as we get the village too, like, good lord, what is not in this box? What is not in this box right now? A Mox? Is that what the last thing we're going to hit? For that reason, the set in its long-term value doesn't do as well. People don't talk about it as much, even though, it satisfies a lot of those criteria. Now, Tarkir Dragonstorm, as we said before, and we'll say it again, really succeeded. We can't miss. We just can't miss. We just cannot miss. Blaze, Family Blaze, congratulations on this box. Listen, it couldn't have happened to a better group of humans. Thank you constantly for the amazing support, for the patience on something like this. And it's hard to even keep my train of thought when you just cannot miss. That's another playable card. I'll take that. Maybe not so much. And the foil skirmish Rhino, Siege Rhino Jr. You got Weenie Hut Jr. in Siege Rhino edition. So all in all, because Tarkir checks those boxes that were, left unchecked by sets that otherwise had this opportunity, I think the long-term value of this booster box is in a really good spot. Now, I say long-term value because I really don't believe that in the short term you're going to see a ton of spike in the play booster box. Wizards of the Coast has made it pretty apparent that they want this product to be readily available. This is their on-the-shelf product, and if you're going to go above and beyond to, quote unquote, make collector boxes feel super collectible again, you're going to limit their printing, you're going to make them harder to come by, then you have to have a product that's on the shelf for consumers to go to their local game store to buy, to revisit with some level of consistency. Because listen, Magic's the most played TCG in the known universe. It's by far the best TCG in the known universe. And because of this, you're going to have people that are going to be mad that if a set drops and they can't even go to their game store and buy a box to play, that would be insane. And I understand the feels bad of you can't get a collector box. We're going to have a lot of this in Final Fantasy. We're going to have a lot of Final Fantasy content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. But the feels bad of, I want the collector box, but I can't get it because it's collectible. Well, that doesn't break Magic as a whole. That doesn't break the Magic the Gathering ecosystem. And if you're going to make something unobtainable, something feel collectible, it should be the product that you've named the collector product. The Play Booster is the antithesis of that idea. It should be available. It should be in the hands of people who want to play the game. It should be in the hands of people who want to crack packs. It should be in the hands of people who want to support this channel and go above and beyond like Family Blaze. And because of that, man, I am glad that Tarkir is out this year. Now, the foil snake. Even your foils are super cool playable cards. Wizards of the Coast did report a massive uptick in earnings. We're going to talk about that on the channel, of course, as the weeks go on. We do everything here from tracking every single sold listing of sealed product, talk about Magic news, talk about my thoughts as someone who's been around the industry for the better part of 20 years. So thank you so much for everyone who watches the videos, to anyone who supports the channel, anyone who clicks the like button, who subscribes, who comments. Big shout out to each and every one of you as we get down to our last 2 packs. I think this is only our second Dragonland, but I'll be honest, I wasn't looking for them all that much. I was mostly looking for Eugens. We got 2 packs to pull a Mox. If you call it right now, if you think we got it, if you think it's in the bag, let me know. Call it ahead of time in the comments. Another Snakeskin Veil. Very cool card. Call it ahead of time in the comments. Awaken the Honored Dead. This card's amazing. I bought a full foil playset of this in the fancy schmancy dark border cool art version because this card is incredible. That card's amazing. Gosh, the art is so cool. All right, it does look like we are down to our last pack as we have our foil new way forward. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I feel like I've said that a couple times, but I lose my train of thought when it comes to looking at these amazing, beautiful skirmish rhinos. Thanks so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and while we didn't hit a Mox, this was a pretty sick box. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.